Discover the incredible life of Shakespeare. A heartwarming bedtime story that inspires change. 8-year-old Emma squinted up at the sky, a swirl of emotions dancing in her chest. The same gray clouds that typically smothered Elmwood seemed to loom larger today, mirroring her worries. Just a poor girl in thrift store clothes, she could hear her classmates whispering behind her back. But Emma had a secret, and it was tucked away in the forgotten corners of her dusty attic, a stack of old books that belonged to her grandmother. Among them lay the plays of Shakespeare, alive with tales of love, betrayal, and most importantly, resilience. Every evening, after her mother finished her long shift at the diner, Emma would curl up in the attic, the smell of musty paper filling her lungs with warmth. She read about brave characters like Hamlet and Portia, who overcame their struggles with courage and wit. Their adventures ignited hope within her, images flashing before her like fireflies. If only she could bring those stories to life and share them with her town, but Elmwood was quick to judge. Emma's lunch, a simple peanut butter sandwich, drew snickers from her peers as they flaunted their store-bought goodies. When she walked in wearing the colorful hand-me-down dresses, they'd look away, eyes filled with disdain. But deep down, Emma believed she was special. She was bursting with creativity, even if her classmates and many townsfolk couldn't see it. Imagine if we put on a play, she suddenly cried during lunch one day, the idea popping into her mind like a bubble. Play about us, about our lives. She could see it: families overcoming adversity, neighbors linking arms against prejudices. But her hopeful shout was met with rolling eyes and laughter, the heavy weight of their dismissive mirth crashing down on her heart. "Just a dreamer," she heard them say. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue." Emma's spirit felt crushed beneath the weight of judgment, and just as tears threatened to spill, she wandered to the park. She swung her legs absent-mindedly, clutching her tattered copy of A Midsummer Night's Dream. When she met David, the local veteran with stories etched on his face. They shared secrets of feeling unheard, invisible. David saw in Emma a fire, a passion for art that could light up even the darkest corners of their community. With his encouragement, Emma envisioned her grand premiere at the upcoming town festival. "Could be a celebration for all of us," she exclaimed, heart pounding with boldness. Yet, as murmurs spread through town, she found herself at a crossroads. Could she convince Elmwood to look past their doubts, to embrace her vision of hope and unity? Emma remembered Shakespeare's brave characters, and as uncertainty crept in, she clenched her fists, ready to prove the skeptics wrong. Would the community rally around her dream, or would judgment eclipse her light? The answers felt luminous, just out of reach. The town festival was just a week away, and Emma's heart raced with both excitement and dread. She spent every spare moment in her attic, flipping through the pages of Shakespeare's plays, searching for inspiration. The words danced before her eyes like whispers of encouragement, urging her to press on despite the challenges ahead. To turn her vision into reality, Emma needed more than just courage. She needed support. So, the next day at school, she made a plan. "I'll talk to my classmates," she told herself, clutching her script. "I'll show them that the stories are ours." During lunch, she took a deep breath, her heart pounding as she stood up on the bench. "Hey, everyone," she shouted, her cheeks flushed with determination. The cafeteria echoed with chatter, and a few heads turned. "I'm putting on a play about our lives for the festival. I want all of you to be in it." Silence enveloped the room. Then came the laughter, the same laughter she had faced before. "A play? You, Emma?" Someone sneered. As if anyone would want to watch that. Emma felt a familiar hurt, the pang of doubt creeping in. But before she could retreat, she caught a glimpse of David through the cafeteria window. He stood by the park, a gentle smile on his face, and it sparked a flicker of hope within her. "No," she exclaimed, surprising herself with the strength of her own voice. "It's not just my play. It's our story. We all have struggles we face. Let us show Elmwood who we really are." She finished with a flourish, and for a moment, there was a stillness. Then, from the back, someone clapped a slow, hesitant clap that turned into a ripple of applause. It wasn't a lot, but Emma felt a flicker of warmth ignite inside her heart. After school, Emma gathered a small group of her classmates as they tentatively approached her. "Okay, maybe we can give it a try," one boy said, his voice a mix of surprise and curiosity. As they sat around the park later that evening, they brainstormed ideas. Emma felt an electric thrill course through her. This was it. They created characters based on their own lives, dealing with family struggles, accepting differences, and finding joy in their simple hometown. With each idea they shared, Emma's earlier doubts began to fade. They laughed and bounced off each other's suggestions, creating a tapestry of emotions that reflected their community. David watched from a distance, pride radiating from his gaze as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a golden glow over their small circle. Days passed, and the small group transformed into a team. They practiced under the fading light, falling in love with their characters. Emma poured her heart into directing, rallying her classmates. Yet even amidst the joy, she could sense the skepticism lingering in Elmwood. As the day of the festival approached, rumors rippled through town. "Can they really pull this off? And it will be a disaster," echoed in hushed tones. But Emma held tight to her dream, the weight of their voices spurring her on with renewed motivation. The night before the festival, she climbed up to the attic, clutching her favorite play. Emma read the words aloud, each line a reminder of the power of stories. She felt invincible, as though all of Shakespeare's creations merged with her own spirit. Would tomorrow's performance be a triumph that changed their town? Or would the lingering shadows of doubt snuff out her spark? Unexpectedly, she found herself wishing for that first audience reaction, for someone to see her light. Tomorrow would tell everything. But as she closed her book, a tightening sensation wrapped around her heart. Would they embrace the truth she had woven together? Or would the comfort of silence draw them back into the shadows? In the quiet of the attic, under the watchful eyes of old characters, Emma made a promise to herself. She would shine no matter the outcome. After all, even the brightest stars had to pierce through the darkness to be seen. The sun rose on the day of the festival, casting a warm light that filled Emma's room. She woke up with butterflies fluttering in her stomach, a mix of hope and anxiety dancing together like an excited duet. The attic felt different, charged with energy, as if the ghosts of creativity had gathered to lend her strength. She stared at the play scripts still scattered among her notes, picking one up to read a few lines and stoking the fire in her heart. Tea breakfast. Her mom noticed the intensity in Emma's gaze. "Are you ready for today?" she asked, pouring a bowl of cereal. Emma nodded, unable to find the words. Her mom smiled knowingly, sensing the weight of the moment. "Just remember, it's about more than just the performance. It's about your voice and what you have to share." Emma felt a surge of determination wash over her. She was ready. They arrived at the festival scene in the park, the air buzzing with excitement. Bright banners waved in the breeze, and laughter erupted around her. Emma and her classmates gathered backstage, their faces filled with varying levels of nerves and excitement. She could see David, his eyes sparkling with encouragement as he moved among them, passing out props and sharing laughter that echoed like familiar notes in a beloved song. Emma, the boy who had first shown interest, approached her, a nervous smile crossing his face. "I think we should go out there and show them what we've got. Let us be fearless." His words ignited a fire in the others, and soon they rallied together, supporting one another, sharing quiet words of affirmation. As the sun began to set, casting a golden hue over the park, the moment finally arrived. The crowd began to gather, people whispering and pointing at the hastily painted sign that read our stories. A play adorned with doodled stars and hearts. Emma's heart raced as she watched familiar faces in the audience, some her classmates, others the skeptics, all with varying shades of curiosity. "Okay, Emma whispered, taking a few deep breaths. "This is it. Let us show them our story." With the first strum of the guitar from a band nearby, the group took to the stage. The spotlight, though dim, felt blinding, illuminating every doubt and every hope they carried. As the play began, Emma channeled every ounce of emotion she had gathered in the attic. The characters, who had once just been ideas, danced and spoke, and brought to life the raw truths of their small town. Each scene flowed effortlessly, laughter and heartfelt moments punctuated the dialogue, creating a palpable connection with the audience. But as laughter filled the air, Emma noticed something odd. A few faces in the crowd were not smiling. Instead, they seemed disinterested, arms crossed. A shadow of doubt quickly clouded her excitement. What if they still didn't understand? What if they never really saw? In the pivotal moment of the play, her best friend's character began to break down barriers, revealing vulnerabilities that mirrored those of the audience. Emma's heart pounded in her chest. Would the audience connect? Would they feel something? Then, unexpectedly, she heard a soft, "You've got this." It was David's voice, rising above the murmurs, urging her on. Something shifted in the atmosphere. The tension began to ease as more people leaned in, open to their stories. Emma felt renewed energy surge through her as the final scene drew closer. A smile spread across her face. This was their moment. They were vulnerable, they were real, and they were uniting the town in ways she had only dreamed. When the play concluded, the first sound was silence, but it quickly erupted into applause. Cheering erupted from corners of the crowd, familiar faces beaming back at her. Tears of joy welled in Emma's eyes. But as she looked out at the faces, she noticed someone emerging from the crowd, an unexpected figure, with a look that sent a chill of uncertainty deep into her heart. What had they come to say? The festival was drawing to a close, but for Emma, everything was just beginning. Emma's hands trembled as the figure moved closer, cutting through the celebratory atmosphere like a sudden storm cloud. Her stomach twisted in knots. She strained to see through the sea of faces, the applause fading into a low hum in her ears. It was Mr. Henderson, the town's grumpy old librarian, known for his stern demeanor and no-nonsense attitude. "What's he doing here?" Emma muttered under her breath, her heart racing. She had expected everyone's support tonight, not a confrontation. Mr. Henderson paused at the edge of the stage. The smiles of her friends and classmates faded into the background, replaced by a feeling of dread. He looked so out of place in the midst of happiness, like a rain cloud drifting into a picnic as the crowd settled. She could see the conflict in Mr. Henderson's eyes, a mixture of confusion and something deeper, perhaps regret. He stepped forward, his voice unsteady. "Emma," he cleared his throat. I didn't know which way this would go. I wasn't sure you'd be able to pull it off." Emma felt heat creeping into her cheeks. Did he really think she couldn't do it? Anger bubbled within her, but underneath it all, she sensed concern. "But did you see?" she whispered, a plea hidden in her tone. "We did it. We told our stories." Mr. Henderson's expression softened, and for a brief moment, the hardness crumbled. "I was wrong," he admitted, his voice quiet yet firm. "You've done something remarkable. You've brought this town together in a way I never thought possible." A ripple of surprise spread through the audience. The weight of his words sank in, the unexpected approval lighting a flicker of hope in Emma's chest. Even with her heart still heavy, she found a glimmer of satisfaction in his acknowledgement. "Maybe there's more to storytelling than I thought," he continued, looking between Emma and the crowd. "The very essence of community comes alive through your voices." More murmurs filled the crowd, some exchanging glances, as if they were resonating with this new realization. Emma felt a surge of warmth, the appreciation slowly turning into acceptance not just from Mr. Henderson, but from those around her. Encouraged, she spoke up. "That's the point. We are more than whispers in the shadows. Every story matters, and tonight we showed that." The audience shifted, some heads nodding in agreement. Even the skeptics seemed intrigued. She could feel David's gaze, his eyes were lit with pride. But just as she allowed herself to bask in this newfound connection, a troubling thought crept back. Had they really been heard? Did they really matter? Mr. Henderson stepped aside, inviting anyone from the audience to share their own feelings. There was a moment, a breath-holding pause, that felt like the turning of a page. Then, a woman stood up, voice trembling but determined. I've lived here all my life and I never thought anyone would care about our stories. Thank you for reminding us of our strength. More voices joined, pouring out gratitude and ideas that flowed like a river, washing away resentment. Emma was overcome. For the first time, their talents and bravery were recognized. Yet, amidst the applause, anxiety still fluttered in her chest. This moment felt precious, but what lay ahead? Could one performance truly change the way her town saw itself? As the crowd continued to share, the warmth of community growing stronger, Emma caught sight of a familiar face, the principal standing at the back, arms crossed, with a perplexed expression. She didn't know what the principal's response might be, but the uncertainty lingered in the air like the last traces of twilight. What would happen next? Emma's heart raced with hope and fear, knowing that the real challenge might just be beginning. Emma stood frozen on stage, the applause ringing in her ears, feeling as if time had slowed. The spell Mr. Henderson cast with his unexpected praise hung in the air like the sweet scent of blooming flowers. Voices rose behind her, one after another, each person sharing their vulnerabilities, their long-held dreams, their gratitude. She spotted Mrs. Jenkins, who had always kept her distance, now wiping tears from her cheeks. A younger man, one Emma had never spoken to, stood to reveal his shy but heartfelt tale of growing up feeling invisible. It was like a domino effect, each voice urging the next to speak. The audience had transformed from passive spectators into an engaged community. Among the noise, David smiled encouragingly from the front row. She wanted to run to him, to share this moment, to draw strength from him. Still, it felt right to stay, to witness what was unfolding. Each story, a thread weaving them together, revealing a rich tapestry of their shared existence. The principal shifted uncomfortably, likely struggling with the unexpected turn of events. Emma stole another glance towards the back of the room, wondering what he was thinking. Did he see the value in this chaos? Did he understand that her town had more to offer than grades and test scores? Amidst the heartfelt confessions, the mood shifted. Laughter erupted when an elderly man shared a story about his misfit cat who had become the town mascot. It broke the tension, and Emma couldn't help but chuckle. It was beautiful, how joy could spring from such simple moments. As the evening continued, a hush fell again, this time for the quiet ones. A girl from school who had always sat quietly at the back finally gathered the courage to speak. Her voice was barely a whisper, but it carried the weight of loneliness and longing. I felt lost and unsure of where I fit in, but tonight, I feel that I can finally belong. That confession pierced through Emma. She felt it too, like pieces of a puzzle finally coming together. With every shared story, walls crumbled, understanding blossomed. Did they really matter? Yes, they did. Together, they were stronger than one person alone. That I end that moment. The principal unfolded his arms. The arch of his posture relaxed. Emma could sense he was beginning to reconsider the importance of heart in their education. Hope surged within her. Let us not let tonight be a one-time event. Emma called out to the crowd, her voice steady and resolute. What if we create a regular space to share our stories? To connect? Cheers erupted. Heads nodded. Ideas sparked: a monthly open mic, community writing workshops, maybe even a storytelling festival. Emma felt alive, her heart racing at the possibilities, knowing this was just the beginning. But her gaze wandered back to the principal, who remained silent, still processing. There was uncertainty there, and she could see doubt reflected in his eyes. What would he decide? Would he champion this movement or squash it with his usual constraints? As she awaited his response, an unsettling thought gripped her. Was she ready for that fight? Could she face a system afraid of change? For now, the room filled with energy and excitement, but Emma knew questions lingered in the shadows. Just how far were they willing to go to ensure their voices were heard? With her heart pounding, she took a deep breath, feeling the weight of the moment. Emma didn't want to back down. Whatever came next could either elevate them or bring it all crashing down. The principal finally straightened up, clearing his throat. The silence that fell over the room was heavy with anticipation. Emma felt her heart race again. Was this the moment everything would turn? Would he dismiss their brave confessions? Or would he embrace the change they all craved? First, let me say, Mr. Henderson paused, glancing at the crowd that now faced him with hope-filled eyes. I'm impressed. This was unexpected. You all took a risk tonight, and I appreciate your courage. A murmur of relief rippled through the audience. Emma could feel the tension ease, but anticipation simmered below the surface. What would come next? Would he support their efforts, or would he remind them of the rules they should follow? However, he continued, and Emma's stomach tightened. We must consider feasibility. Change can often come with challenges, and I worry about how it will affect our curriculum. The school year is already packed. Gasps of disappointment filled the air. Emma felt her chest constrict as an overwhelming wave of frustration washed over her. They had opened their hearts, shown their true selves, and now it felt like they were being pushed back behind walls of rules and regulations. But what if a voice called out from the middle of the crowd? It was David. Emma felt a spark of hope rekindle in her heart as she focused on him. What if we do this ourselves? We could meet after school or on weekends. We could set up the events. We would do the work. The idea hung in the air, buzzing with electricity. It was a simple yet powerful thought. Emma's heart swelled with admiration for David. There was something about his enthusiasm that was contagious. Several voices began to join in with agreement. We can make flyers, shouted one person. We could use the community center, someone else suggested. Emma's pulse quickened as she realized the tide was turning. This was their call to action. They didn't need permission, they could do this together. The principal watched, a mix of confusion and wonder on his face. Perhaps we could work together to figure this out, he said tentatively. I'm not against extracurricular activities so long as they don't overwhelm our academic commitments. If you can bring clear plans to me, I may be able to support you. The crowd erupted into applause, and Emma felt a collective joy unite them. This was their chance to create something beautiful, something meaningful. Let us make a list of activities, she said, her voice rising above the cheers. Every person who wants to share their voice can contribute. We need to dream big. Amidst the enthusiastic chatter and renewal of spirits, Emma couldn't help but think of the girl who had felt invisible, the one who had broken down in front of everyone. Would she take part? Would this community truly welcome her into their circle? As Emma looked around, she saw hope painted on every face. But lurking at the back of her mind was the uncertainty of execution. Would they genuinely rally together, or would this idea fade away like so many others before it? With determination thick in the air, Emma made a silent promise to herself not to let fear hold them back. She knew they could transform their stories into something bigger than just words. But as they began brainstorming, a new question loomed. What challenges could rise up against them when they stepped out of their comfort zones to face the world beyond? Emma felt a familiar tingle of excitement mixed with anxiety. She was ready, but what if the resistance they echoed in their hearts was only the beginning? The energy in the room surged as students began to gather around tables, eager to brainstorm ideas. Emma could feel her spirits lifting, and the buzz grew louder, echoing off the walls like a vibrant song. They were no longer just a group of individuals voicing their concerns. They were a collective, and together, they could create a rhythm of change. Let's start with the talent show, someone shouted, and applause followed. Emma couldn't help but smile. This was what she had envisioned, everyone sharing a piece of themselves. We could have art exhibits, another voice chimed in, showcasing all the amazing talent we have here. As ideas flew around like confetti, Emma paid close attention to her peers. She could see the excitement on the faces of students who had once remained quiet in the background, their eagerness bubbling to the surface. There was John, who had always sketched in the margins of his notebooks. Anna, whose voice was soft yet hauntingly beautiful, and Zara, who had recently learned the art of storytelling. This was their moment. But in the midst of the excitement, Emma's thoughts drifted back to the girl who had cried earlier, the one who had felt so alone. She hadn't seen her since the speeches. Was she okay? Did she feel included in this hopeful surge? Hey, what about a spoken word night? David's voice broke through her reverie, bringing her focus back. A chance for everyone to share their stories, and for that girl, too. His words sank deep in Emma's heart. It was as if he could feel her concern. The room quieted for a moment, and all eyes turned to Emma. She nodded, taking in the weight of what it could mean. Yeah. Everyone should have a platform. We can even set up a mentorship program to help those who are nervous. The idea felt bold, a step towards inviting vulnerability. As the discussion blossomed, Emma realized that the bond they were creating was unlike anything she had ever experienced. This was about more than school events. This was about community. The scent of possibility hung in the air, making Emma's head spin with delight. She had to keep pushing, keep advocating. Her heart beat faster. She was driven. But with all this energy, doubt lingered like a shadow. What if, when the dust settled, the voices of some still went unheard? As the group continued to plan late into the night, she caught sight of the girl who had gone unnoticed before. She was standing slightly back from the crowd, her eyes shining with something Emma couldn't quite grasp. Was it hope? Fear? Emma's gut twisted. We need to reach out to everyone, not just those excited to talk. She insisted, her voice trembling slightly. Let us make sure this is inclusive. We're all in this together, after all. We have to make it a safe space. Light murmurs of agreement spread through the crowd. The girl stepped forward, her expression cautious yet curious. Emma watched as she clutched her book, the one that had spilled her emotions so openly. Would she dare to open up? David shot Emma a glance, as if knowing her thoughts. Let us all share one thing we care about before we leave tonight, he suggested. Let us practice what we preach. Nervousness rippled through the crowd, but that initial step swallowed by vulnerability felt necessary. One by one, they bravely opened up, sharing pieces of themselves. When it came to the girl's turn, the room fell silent. Emma's heart drummed a frantic rhythm. Would she find the strength to share? But just as the girl opened her mouth to speak, a loud crash echoed from the hallway, interrupting the moment. Everyone jumped, startled, the energy shifting abruptly from hopeful to anxious. Emma's pulse quickened. What had just happened? Would this unexpected turn change everything they had fought for? Would their new beginning be overshadowed by looming obstacles? She needed answers, and she needed them fast. The loud crash resonated through the room, sending a ripple of tension across the eager faces of students. Emma's heart raced as she turned towards the hallway. What had just happened? Murmurs spread like wildfire. Some looked at each other, wide-eyed and unsure, while others instinctively moved toward the door, curiosity and fear battling within them. Emma glanced back at the girl, who appeared equally startled, her grip tight on the book. Was this going to derail everything they'd begun to build? Let us check it out, David suggested, already pushing his chair back. I'll go first. Yeah. We'll all go, Emma quickly added, the need for unity bubbling within her. They shared a collective anxiety, a mix of nervous anticipation and a firm resolve to look out for each other. The group shuffled toward the door, leaving behind their brainstorming tables, the atmosphere now filled with a sense of urgency. As they stepped into the dimly lit hallway, the echoes of their footsteps sounded loud against the walls. Emma could see a small crowd gathering near the corner, where the noise had originated. What's going on? Asked Anna, her voice barely a whisper. I don't know, Emma admitted, her heart hammering louder now with each step. As they neared the source of the disturbance, the murmurings grew louder, revealing snippets of conversation. Fell over just a stack of boxes. Wasn't he in the schedule? When they finally reached the scene, Emma's eyes widened. A series of boxes, stacked high in a precarious tower, lay toppled on the floor, papers and supplies spilling all around. Nearby, two teachers were trying to clear the mess. The chaos was harmless, but the unease was palpable. Up close, Emma realized the source of the issue was the very spirit they'd been fostering earlier, the initiative to bring students together, was now threatened by this unexpected disruption. "Everyone okay?" one of the teachers called out, glancing around. The crowd slowly responded with nods and relieved murmurs. Emma felt her heartbeat steady somewhat. The urgency for answers faded as relief washed over her. No one was hurt. Yet, she worried about how this would pull everyone back from the openness they were beginning to embrace. As the crowd began to disperse, she turned back to the girl. She was still standing there, looking somewhat lost in the commotion. Emma could see her expression change from alarm to something softer, almost wistful, as she watched the scene unfold. "Hey," Emma said gently, stepping toward her. "Are you all right?" The girl blinked. "I was going to say something, but that happened." Emma nodded, understanding the disruption. "I know it's scary, but you have a voice. We all want to hear it whenever you're ready." A flicker of determination ignited in the girl's eyes. "Really? Absolutely. Let us not let a little chaos take our chance away. We can do this together." The girl nodded, the tension easing from her shoulders. Emma felt a wave of encouragement ripple through her. Perhaps this was a chance to show everyone that even when chaos strikes, community stands strong. "All right, everyone," Emma called to the remaining group who were drifting back toward their tables. "How about we gather again? We can dive right into those stories we were starting to share. Nothing will stop us if we lift each other up." Louder murmurs of agreement filled the air, excitement flickering back to life. As they filed back into the room, Emma felt invigorated. She could see the girl step forward, eyes bright, ready to embrace the moment. But just before she could speak, David raised a brow in concern. What if more interruptions happen? Emma considered this, her heart sinking just a bit. Then we'll need to learn to adapt. That's part of community, right? She was about to ask for suggestions when all at once a ringing phone interrupted louder than the chatter that followed. Emma's chest tightened again. What now? What new hurdle awaited them? She felt uncertainty creeping back in, and it scared her. She took a deep breath, but was interrupted by the relentless ringing, echoing in the room. "Let us find out," she said, her voice steady despite the unease swirling within her. The group turned, determination settling over them like a thick blanket. And Emma knew she wouldn't give up now. What lay ahead was uncertain, but one thing was clear. They were all in this journey together, for better or worse. But would they weather the next storm? And would they find the strength to keep pushing forward, no matter what challenges awaited them? The phone kept ringing, an annoying yet persistent tone that echoed off the walls, undeterred by the gathering noise of the students buzzing with curiosity. Emma felt the weight of the moment pressing on her, sparking a mix of determination and anxiety. "Where's that sound coming from?" someone asked, peering around in search of the source. The ringing persisted like a misplaced alarm, jarring and unforgiving. Emma began to step forward into the crowd, glancing back at her friends, who were also confused but resolute. They could face whatever was about to reveal itself. The ringing finally stopped abruptly, replaced by a soft voice that took everyone by surprise. "Hello? Is this room 203? The voice came through a cell phone speaker, crackling slightly before becoming clear. Everyone instinctively turned in the direction of the sound. "Who's on the other end?" Anna's voice rose slightly above the rest. "I'll check it out," David finally shouted, his energy infectious, and the group began to part so he could make his way through. Emma's heart raced with anticipation. As David grabbed the phone from its haphazard resting place on the windowsill, a sense of relief washed over Emma. The confusion and tension in the room shifted into something new: curiosity again. "It's from Ms. Parker's class. It sounds like they need something," David called back, excitement edging his tone. With a quick glance, Emma caught the girl from earlier standing a little apart from the group, her eyes wide, flickering from David to Emma. "What do you think they need?" she whispered, a mix of concern and eagerness in her voice. "I don't know, but I think we can help. Whatever it is, we're a team." Emma smiled, the spark she felt earlier reigniting within her. They weren't just students anymore. They were keepers of their own community, ready to tackle whatever surprises came their way. David spoke into the phone, and the chatter in the room faded to a tense hush as everyone tuned in. "Miss Parker, what do you need?" he asked, his voice steady. But once again, there was a pause, a thick silence filled with mounting pressure. Emma's heartbeat quickened. What if this was another obstacle? Would they be strong enough to face it? Then David's face broke into a grin. "What? A surprise guest? Count us in." The moment hung in the air like a promise, brightening the shadows cast by uncertainty. Emma's excitement bubbled as she glanced back at the girl beside her, who looked equally intrigued. A surprise guest? What could this mean for them? The group buzzed with questions, the vibes shifting, and anticipation thickening. "Who is it?" Someone shouted from the back of the room, a mix of hope and eagerness. "Wait for it," David teased, holding a hand up, his grin widening. "A musician." A collective gasp followed, and Emma couldn't help but feel that the chaotic moments, the uncertainty, had all led them here. The idea of sharing something beautiful was suddenly within reach. But why would they want to come here? Emma considered aloud, her mind racing through possibilities. "We'll find out," David replied, a spark in his eyes that told her he believed deeply in their potential to create something amazing together. Murmurs of excitement fluttered among the students. Emma felt a rush of gratitude for the girl beside her who, with newfound courage in her gaze, stood ready to speak. And just then, the door swung open wide. Heads turned, breath caught in throats. Emma felt that sharp slice of nervous uncertainty again. Who was it behind that door? What might that invite of a musician reveal about the dreams they shared? This was more than a surprise, it was a chance to explore the foundation they were building. But could they truly form a real connection? Would this musician inspire them to leap even further into the unknown? As everyone held their breath, Emma could only wonder if the next moment would pull them all together or drift them apart again. Would they sing as one, united as a community, or would doubts pull them back into isolation? The door swung open, revealing a tall figure with wild, curly hair and a guitar slung over one shoulder. It was Lila, a local musician known for her soulful voice and heartwarming lyrics. Gasps of recognition spread among the crowd. Emma felt her heart leap. This was a sign of hope. Lila stepped in, her warm smile lighting up the room as if the sun had burst through the gray clouds. "Hey everyone, I heard you all have been working on something special," Lila said with an inviting grin. A murmur of excitement rushed through the students. They weren't just gathering around for a musician. They had a chance to learn, connect, and maybe even collaborate. Emma squeezed the hand of the girl next to her, both of them caught up in the magic of the moment. "Can I join in on the storytelling?" Lila continued, her voice rich and melodic. "I love hearing what you have created." A wave of exhilaration washed over Emma. "Yes, we've been sharing our stories, our struggles, and our hopes," she chimed in, unable to contain her enthusiasm. The crowd erupted into applause, and Emma felt renewed energy flow through the room. This was their chance, an opportunity to bring their community together in a way they had never imagined. Lila nodded, her eyes sparkling with curiosity. "Let us make something beautiful together right now. What if we write a song inspired by the stories you've shared?" Emma practically beamed. "That would be amazing." Soon, Lila was passing around her guitar, encouraging students to share snippets of their emotions and ideas. Laughter, excitement, and a spirit of creativity filled the room. The girl who had felt invisible shared her thoughts, her confidence blooming as she opened up about her dreams. Others followed suit, their voices intertwining as they crafted lyrics. It was magical, their stories becoming together what each one of them couldn't quite achieve alone. Emma's heart raced as she watched everyone find their place, supported by Lila's presence, blooming like wildflowers in a sunlit meadow. This was precisely what they needed, a bridge connecting their individual experiences into a beautiful symphony of resilience. They created. Emma caught a glimpse of Mr. Henderson outside the door, his arms crossed, watching intently. She thought of the surprises left to unfold, how he would respond to this vibrant energy. Emma felt hope swell in her chest. If he could understand the power stories held to connect them as a community, perhaps everything they fought for could flourish. Lila strummed a chord, inviting everyone to sing the words they had crafted together. The sound echoed through the hall, lifting spirits and weaving hearts in harmony. She encouraged them to dance, to lose themselves in the moment. Emma twirled in joy, laughter filling her lungs, letting go of all the apprehensions that had plagued her. But deep inside, she felt the weight of what this moment represented. They were building something solid. This wasn't just a fleeting performance. This was the foundation of a community rising up as one as their voices became a chorus. Tears brimmed in Emma's eyes. David, standing by her side, caught her gaze and smiled with pride. They had both come so far, battling doubts, insecurities, and fears together. Now, before them, lay the undeniable strength of unity and creativity. When the song ended, the applause that erupted was thunderous. Lila basked in the moment but then turned her gaze to Emma. I see so much courage here, so much heart. Change takes time, but you all are the heartbeats of this community. Keep telling your stories. Keep supporting one another. Emma felt a swell of emotion. This was what she had dreamed of, a space where everyone mattered, where every voice was heard. She looked out at the faces filled with hope, and she knew that while the fight for their community was just beginning, they had already taken the first step. The principal stepped forward, carefully clearing his throat once more. I realize tonight has shown us all something valuable: the power of voice, connection, and community spirit, he shared, his tone lighter now, reflective of what had unfolded. Perhaps, this is the time to truly listen, to embrace the creativity and strength that lies within all of us. At that moment, Emma knew they wouldn't back down. They were ready to weather whatever storms came next as a united front. They had sparked something beautiful, something profound, and it was just the beginning. This was the moment when Elmwood wasn't just a town, but a community, a collection of stories and heartbeats woven together, ready to sing out loud as the night descended. Lit by shared laughter and the bond of resilience, Emma felt a radiant smile cross her face. This was more than a school project. It was a movement. They were all storytellers now, each of them holding a piece of the brighter future they would continue to build together. Join Emma and her friends on this journey of courage and unity. Together, they faced challenges that threatened to dim their light, yet they shone brighter than ever. You don't want to miss the next chapter of their incredible story. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. Comment your reactions and feelings about the ending. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. You need to subscribe now. This is the moment to show your support. Don't wait not even one more second to share. Only true fans understand the importance of supporting the channel through these actions.